Call the meeting to order. We will begin with a silent prayer. Roll call.
Mayor Kendall,
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino, Councilman Jenny,
Here.
Councilwoman Pies,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki, Councilwoman Williams,
Present.
Councilman Toussaint,
Present.
Acting City Manager Szymanski,
Here.
City Attorney Diwali.
Here. I need a motion to excuse
Madam Mayor,
Councilwoman Sawicki and Constantino.
I'll offer the motion to excuse Councilperson Vivian Sawicki and Councilperson Cheryl Costantino from tonight's meeting.
Support.
Okay, support by Mr. Toussaint. All right, I also need a motion to approve, to excuse from the last meeting, Councilman Tom Jennings. Somehow the information didn't get to us in time that he would be excused.
Madam
So
Mayor?
Can I get a motion to excuse?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the motion to excuse Councilperson Jenny from our last council meeting.
April 18th meeting?
Yes.
Support.
All right, support by Mr. Toussaint. All right. Now I needed a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting in the Board of Zone of Appeal meeting. So who wants to do the honors? Oh, okay, Councilman Toussaint.
Okay, I move that we approve the minutes from the regular council meeting held on, was that April
April 18th.
18th, and also for the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting held on April 13th,
What year?
2022.
Thank you.
Support.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Public comment on agenda items. If you have any comments on the agenda items, not anything else. Seeing none, okay, we move on to the consent agenda. I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I make the
Councilman
resolution to accept consent agenda items 1 through 6.
Support.
Support by Mr. Toussaint. Okay. Discussion? If there's no discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, resolution passed. There's no old business, so that brings me to new business and city manager report.
Okay. Item G1, public hearing. 19.75 mill levy to defray the cost to continue the maintenance of police and fire protection. Mayor and council, as scheduled, we will hold a public hearing on Monday night to allow property owners an opportunity to review the monetary impact of the 19.75 mill assessment and also receive additional public comment and input. For this portion of the agenda, Only the standard motions of opening and closing the public hearing will be required. Mayor, a motion is recommended.
Okay, need a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make the motion to open the public hearing on the levy of 19.75 mils assessment to defray the cost to continue the maintenance of police and fire protection.
Support.
Support? Okay. Public hearing is open. Any comments? Sure. Step to the mic.
Just a quick question, Larry Hakeem was the if you can, John, real quick, that 19.75 mil equates to dollars and cents in the amount of what?
For the entire levy, it comes out to probably about 4.2 million.
Okay, and then per homeowner?
Okay, we have right there, we have a tax roll.
Okay,
On that table, you could look up your property and you could see exactly what it's gonna cost you.
right.
And we have our acting treasurer here, Kim Keough, she'll help you.
That's a wonderful thing. I saw you lug those in. I was wondering if that's where I was gonna get my answer.
We're ready for you, Larry.
See, that's what I figured. All right, whatever it is, I'm probably okay with that.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak during this public hearing? Seeing none? I need a motion to close.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Support? All in favor?
Aye.
Are there anyone opposed? Public hearing is closed. Okay?
Okay, item G2, levy of the 19.75 mill assessment. Mayor and council, with the public hearing now having been held, it is recommended that the attached resolutions be adopted to direct the assessor to spread the assessment levy on the taxable value of all lands and premises within the municipal boundaries of the city of Harper Woods to defray the cost to continue maintenance and operation of police and fire, 9.875 mils for police and 9.875 for fire. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
will offer by resolution to direct the city assessor to spread the assessment levy of 19.75 mils on the taxable value of all lands and premises within the municipal boundaries of the city of Harper Woods to defray the costs to continue maintenance and operations of police and fire, 9.875 mils for police and 9.875 mils for fire.
Support.
Support by Mr. Jennings. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kimball,
Yes. Okay.
Hello?
Jenny?
oh, Councilman Bennett.
Yes. That's okay.
Okay. Resolution. Okay, item G3, progress payment final traffic signal optimization project. Mayor and council, attached is an outstanding invoice for the final progress billing from the Michigan Department of Transportation for the traffic signal optimization work along 8 Mile at Beaconsfield Road, Highway I-94 and Harper Avenue. I have reviewed this invoice and recommend that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Williams.
I offer the resolution to approve payment to Michigan Department of Transportation for the final progress billing in the amount of $20,891.44 for the traffic signal optimization project MDOT contract number 16-5493, job number 131153, CON.
Support.
Support by Mr. Jennings.
Discussion.
Resolution.
Discussion.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Discussion. Don't be serious, don't laugh at me down there.
Madam Mayor?
Discussion, please.
Madam
If
Mayor?
there's any, yes.
Yeah, I know this is the final payment, so I was wondering how much have the payments totaled up? What was our total amount we've paid?
Oh, Bill,
Bill?
can you help me out here?
Yeah, exactly. It was $159,629.08 was Harper lead portion in this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Item G4, progress payment number 1, Water Service Material Investigation Program number 180-265. Mayor and Council attaches a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 1 on the Water Service Material Investigation Program number 180-265. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll offer by resolution to approve payment to ML Chartier, Inc. in the amount of $72,180 for progress payment number 1 on the Water Service Material Investigation Program number 180-265.
Support.
Support by Mr. Tucson. Discussion?
Madam
Mayor?
Mayor? Oh,
Yes.
just let everyone know, that, this is a thing we have to do per the state. It's not something we're pulling out of, just out of the blue to do. The state's making us do this within the next 20 years. We need to recognize and identify all of our lead service lines in three spots inside the house. And if we do the stop boxes, which we're doing, will be 2 spots there. So this is something the state's making us do. Unfortunately, it falls on us. The state has no money they're giving us to do it, but it's a good program to have, and unfortunately, we're paying for it. But in the long run, it'll help everyone out in the system.
Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Councilwoman Pies.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Mr. Councilman Jenny actually answered most of my questions. But I also wanted to make note that we received a grant from this, I believe, in 2020 to help with this. And I've seen them out in the neighborhood, and on my walks, I've seen them doing some front yards, I guess, at quite a few places, looking for the lead lines. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tucson?
Well, I have a question. I thought I was reading down that some of this payment was, Councilman Jennings gave me the impression that it was coming toward that back pocket, but I got the impression that we were getting funding for this.
Well, usually we get partial funding. We'll get some monies, for this, and sometimes depending on the length of the project or the difficulty of the project, the state may evaluate, giving us further money, but it's always on a reimbursement type basis. So we have to incur the expense first, and then we ask for reimbursement afterwards.
And how often do we get reports on this? So like the status of it, or if it's good or bad? Or?
Well, usually, I want to say on most grants, every 6 months, we have to give them a reporting period and what's called an FSR report, a financial standing, monies that we've expended, inventory that we've used, what percent of the project is complete. And there could be lots of different variables in that. COVID stopped us from doing a lot of this. So we're picking it up now, purchasing the materials now. And as Councilmember Jenny just stated, that, this is required by the state. So it's something that we're going to be working on right now.
I'm kind of speaking more of like the results of the test. Was it good? Did we come out with good reports on it or bad?
Bill, do you have anything to add? At the microphone?
I'd like to, if I may,
Yeah.
Madam Mayor and Council, thank you. You know what, at the last minute, the last hour, this is an unfunded mandate by the state. But Eagle did come through with $323,000 to do this project. And we have to, we had randomly selected 361 locations to be identified. And through some creative application of that funding, that will be enough to cover all 361 locations. So to date, they've identified 118 locations, and of those 118 locations, we have identified 2 lead service lines. So that's a pretty good track record so far. And that will help give us a roadmap going forward for the upgrade and the change out of those lead service lines.
Thanks, Bill. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Perhaps Mr. Snyder can answer this also, I'm sorry. So now that the 2 lines have been identified, what's the next step? Do we wait until everything's finished and then see how many have been identified and then take action on that?
Well, we're obligated by the state to replace 8% of the known lead service lines. So presently, before this program began, we were aware of roughly 100 lead service lines. So we had to change out 8 per year as mandated by the state. So I believe Councilwoman Williams had pointed out that through this program, when we identify more, there will be an uptick in the number of lines that we may have to replace proportionately to that 8%. So the first thing we do is notify the residents of our findings and provide them with information on what they can do with flushing, putting filters on the service lines, and then they will be put in the rotation for a service line change-up. So when all is said and done, if we go from 100 service lines to 150, 8% of 150 would be 12, so there would be an uptick.
Is there a timeline on replacing them?
Actually, we have until the year 2025 to identify these lead service lines. We just have to get out of the gate quick with this project so we can keep moving steadfastly on this.
Okay, and then would we offer some kind of supplies or filters or whatever to the homes that are affected by this?
That is offered to all homeowners in Harperwood, whether they have a lead service line or not.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Are there any further questions? Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pye,
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G5, retention incentive for patrol and court officers. Mayor and council, attached is a tentative memo of understanding between the City of Harper Woods and the Fraternal Order of Police, FOP Union, for the purpose of seniority changes for public safety officers and employee retention. Currently, local city governments are paying signing bonuses of up to $25,000 per individual for patrol officers and offering higher salaries for their support personnel. Our city has lost over 7 patrol officers within this last year alone. This staff shortage is creating scheduling conflicts with our public safety officers that jeopardize our mutual aid agreements with the surrounding communities. This memorandum addresses the seniority issue to allow the city more flexibility in scheduling its PSOs to add support to our firefighting staff and be compliant with the city's mutual aid agreements. We are also anticipating these bonuses will help us retain our PSOs, patrol and court officers, and their support staff as well. This memorandum of understanding, if approved by City Council, provides an additional bonus of $10,000 paid in installments to public safety officers who are cross-trained and an annual bonus of $2,400 paid in installment to non-PSO personnel covered by the FOP bargaining unit until December 31st, 2023. I am also requesting an $1,800 annual bonus paid in installments to our part-time police and court officers who are not covered by a collective bargaining agreement. All bonuses shall be paid from ARPA funds and will cease on December 31st, 2023. I recommend approval of this memorandum of understanding after successful ratification by the union members of the Fraternal Order of Police Union, FOP, and my understanding is the FOP union ratified this memorandum Saturday by a vote of 12-2. I have no further comment, Mayor.
I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor, I'll make the resolution to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Harper Woods and the Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, upon successful ratification of the union members, by union members, sorry.
Support.
Support. Any discussion?
Yeah, Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman.
I'm wondering, what is the cost for training per officer? And, yeah,
Chief Hammerly?
What type of training? Are we
Just-
talking about basic police academies or fire?
the training we're going to have them go through, so that would be the cross-training?
Right now, it's probably about $7,000 per individual. And that includes training only and not equipment and the overtime costs that would be necessary to cover all that officers' way to fire academy. So, you're looking at over $10,000 per officer.
Okay, thank you.
Madam
Any
Mayor?
further discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I did have, I think, two questions. One, and this says additional annual bonus of 10,000 paid in installments. So was there already another annual bonus already
There
in
was
effect?
a public safety officer bonus that has been negotiated in their collective bargaining agreement. It's $2,500. This is in addition to that.
Okay. And then my second question is, I don't know if we have officers who are not cross-trained yet, but if they're not cross-trained, then they won't receive the annual bonus. And if they do cross-train, then will they be able to get the bonus?
Yeah, what this memo, what it provides for is not, you're correct, not all of our police officers are public safety officers. This will just apply, the $10,000 bonus will just apply to the public safety officers, but the patrol officers who are not public safety officers, they will receive a $2,400 year bonus.
Okay, and then part of the question was, if those officers decide that they want to be cross-trained and go through the training, will they then be able to receive the additional $10,000?
Yes, yes.
Are there any further, yes, Councilman Susan?
Jonathan, this is more like we're offering this to get officers and also to retain them. And we're gonna be sending this in installments. Is that like, and I think you have a plan here, but I'm not sure I totally understand it, where we're gonna give them some in the beginning and some after a year or some after some more than 2 years?
What's going to happen is it will be broken down per quarter. The $10,000 will be paid in $2,500 per quarter installments, all the way out to 2023. In other words, there won't be a lump sum payment of $10,000. There'll be a gradual installment payment over between 2022 and 2023.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Are there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Just want to point out a typo in the following whereas on the first page of it. It says December 31st, 2022 is an expiration date. That should be changed to 2023.
Okay, yes, so noted here, okay.
Thank you. Is there any
Thank you.
further discussion or corrections? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pyes,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes, and thank you guys for all your service, and we appreciate so very much, and hope we continue to move forward. And, would you like to say anything?
I don't think he heard you.
I don't think you heard.
Oh, Honey, would you like to say anything, Director?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, thank you, Mayor and
I
Council.
didn't hear you. You know I'm hard of hearing anyway.
No, it's okay. Just, I think everyone should know that this is significant. This helps to retain, there's a real, bidding war, so to speak, for police
Yeah.
officers in the area right now. And, just a nationwide shortage, so we have to do our best to keep our qualified police officers on the street. And, this goes a long way in doing that, so thank you very much.
Well, we can't thank you guys enough because it makes us all safe, and we truly appreciate. And we are in this bidding war. I was just talking to some senators the other day in regards to this bidding war where people are just taking our officers, but they are able to offer more money. We, small cities like us, don't have the money to offer, and we can only rely on the bonuses and the little things that we can do and the incentives that we can give you. And hopefully that you'll stay with us, and maybe something will change eventually where we'll be able to pay all officers the right amount of money that they so richly deserve. And I just appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
That concludes the city manager's reports.
All right, thank you. Okay, call the audience. I'm gonna try this young lady first.
This may be a moot point that I even have my mask on, because the sign at their door says everybody needs to wear a mask that comes in the building. But I just want to bring to council an awareness that about safety, and I appreciate all of your police officers, by the way.
Thank you.
There's been an issue in all these little cities right here in the community for a period of time with regards to public safety. I feel the signs on the street state no parking between 2:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. I understand the purpose of that is so that the police can drive up and down Harper and Mack and some of these other side streets and look down the street to make sure that there's no cars sitting in the street. I've had this issue that I haven't addressed for about 20 years, but as things happen and more violence happens, I'm concerned for the citizens, and I'm concerned, really, my primary thing is I'm concerned for the police officers too. I really am. It's a terrible job to have. I'm a nurse. I know about everybody offering you more money to go other places. I understand all that. But I feel it's an issue that this is not being addressed. The police officers that I've spoken with by phone and in person have told me they give tickets and people pay the tickets and people continue to park on the street. I appreciate that. I'm not asking for any verbal response from anyone at this point in time. I just, number one, want to bring that to light, that has been an ongoing problem for years. But I don't like to present a problem without a solution. So I suggest one of three things to consider. Either keep the regulation, keep it up, and make sure that the cars are off the street. For those people that want to be repeat offenders, after the first ticket, increase the second ticket, and after come the third offense, go get your car out of impound. And if you have to continue to do that, maybe that will have an answer. So those are some of the things that I suggest. The other option is remove that restriction, let people park on the streets. If people have, almost everyone has a driveway or a storage house, we call them garages, storage house, that these vehicles can be off of the street at night. I really think it's a safety issue for citizens, for children running between cars. I realize children shouldn't be out at 2:30 or 3, but, you know, teenagers are teenagers, people are people. And I think it would behoove the city to be more aggressive when you have the funds and the officers to do that. So that's my plea. And the statement that I'm going to leave you with is, everybody's having fun until somebody gets their eye poked out, you know? And the last thing you need is a legal circumstance with a the financials for legal fees when somebody sues the city for something stupid that they've done. So it's just, that's all I request is a consideration in the future when you have the time. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much. We will- Mr. Hakeem.
Larry Hakeem, Littlestone. Who knows, police officers? You guys are worth whatever they charge us. I'm paying. No, well, my wife will pay. It'll get paid. Just a couple of things. I was looking through the ordinances and I can't seem to find it, which is why I can't wait to try to find what the mill adds up to in that book. But do we have a per house limit on automobiles? Like, can you put like 9 cars in the driveway and 2 on your front lawn, or 4 in your backyard and 4 more in your driveway? I can't find that anywhere. There used to be years ago a limit to how many cars each household could have in a driveway. That's my first question regarding that. The second is because there's so many cars in a household these days, even more than there are people, it seems, the approach parking, the ordinance regarding blocking the sidewalk with parked cars is becoming a nightmare. And we've chatted about that, you know, on the street when I run into some of the officers and stuff. But, you know, it's getting to be, you can't even walk down the street. You can't walk your dog. You can't go for a walk. You know, you got in the mud season, you got to tramp across somebody's lawn because you got to leave the sidewalk. And that's another thing I couldn't find in the ordinances. And I was just wondering about if the first one has a limit, chances are most people won't have to park on the approach. But if you got to park on the approach, there's got to be some kind of a smack in the head to teach them to park parallel to the street, not perpendicular to the street. My other last thing, and I got a minute and 4 seconds left, I'm timing it today. A couple of years ago, I believe it was, we gave Mr. Will Smith, I think his name was, the council approved a deal where we gave him $12,000 towards some kind of a basketball camp or something, in which he was supposed to enroll like 100 people and buy equipment and do all that. To the best of my knowledge and research, there's never more than like 12 or 15 people signed up for that camp. And B, were we ever given any kind of a register of expenses of what he spent the $12,000 on? Because I also understand this was supposed to be a continuing thing. And I, for one, don't want to give him another nickel, especially with Parks and Rec now taking the ball on all that and you know, taking care of put the new basketball courts in for the kids. I'm all in favor of that. Whatever we got to do, I'm in favor of, but I'd like to know where the $12,000 was spent. And B, because we're supposed to continue giving it to them, have we given them any more, and are we giving them any more? Because I'll go get it back. Take the big guys with me. I'll go get it. Put it on your calendar. Yeah, I'm just concerned about, if you got an answer for that,
We
I'd
have an-
appreciate it.
We have an answer for you. That money is, like, rollover for this year, and it's being, the fiduciary for that money went to the Hopper Woods Public School. So Mr. Smith did not have direct contact with that money. And we got a report from the school. So there's money left over to do this program for this year. We just have not heard from Mr. Smith as to whether he's going to do it or not. So we will check with the school when it's time to roll this program out. But that money was, the fiduciary for that money was through the Hopper Woods School District.
Was a school district, so they have an accounting of expenditures and whatever. Have they reported or given any copies to the city
It
manager,
was not
anybody
given
here?
to any nonprofit group, it was given directly to the school district to dole it out as necessary for that program.
Okay. Works for me. Why, thank you,
On
Madam
top of
Mayor.
it,
Oh,
Mr.
one
Jarvis.
quick question, last thing.
He's
I noticed
good,
on the
Aaron.
consent agenda, I didn't address it early on,
Thank you.
but it said that we have appointments to the boards and committees. Are you gonna make that
We're
public?
gonna handle that, we have it already appointed, someone is gonna handle that, read off all the names.
Oh.
We're on top of it. Not a problem. Mr. Jarvis.
Well, good evening. I'm Michael W. Jarvis. I live at 19434 Eastwood Drive. And I live in between Kelly and Beaconsfield. So I want to address something that I think is really important, and that's we have a speeder. And Sunday, the police, they almost got him. Almost. But I did want to bring it up to the mayor and council, sorry. I did want to bring it up to you, the mayor. Is there any way that you can put this on a high priority list to get this idiot off the street before he kills one of our children or one of our elderly, which we do have on the block? They walk their dogs and we have children. It's really upsetting, not only the fact that he's speeding, but now he's taunting the police. I don't think we should stand for that here in Harper Woods. Because by allowing this, we're allowing all the other riffraff from other communities to come in and do what they please as well. So if you could please make it a top priority and get this kid off the street who doesn't have a license, get him off the streets. And get that,
Yeah.
thank you.
Just
Yes.
an update, sir, that vehicle was impounded over the weekend. He's being charged with 3 misdemeanors and cars and tow yard.
So you got him Sunday.
Yeah, it was Saturday or
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's it.
And you want to speak about the progress that we're in the progress of doing right now to address all our speeders?
Yeah, we also met with the Wayne County Sheriff, the Undersheriff on Thursday, I believe. And we are communicating, we are going to organize a traffic blitz, if you will, to slow down the speeders on our big streets, Beaconsfield, Eastwood, the city as a whole. But it seems like a lot of the complaints are coming from the larger streets with very few stop signs, the Old Homesteads, Eastwood, Huntington. So that'll be happening within the coming weeks, a joint effort between us and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, good job. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else in the audience?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hope everybody's well. I've got a couple of things. What the young lady over here said earlier, I would love to see a progressive on the parking tickets. I have one idiot, lives across the street from me, in my old house, and he doesn't get it. He's gotten 2 tickets, one for being across and halfway in the street, 2 times in the evening, and he still parks, and he did last night, and I didn't get a chance to call. It's a red Durango, and the address is 19146 They have plenty of room to put that car, but they refuse to move the white truck back far enough, okay? The other thing is, rentals. I'd like to see the city look into some kind of ordinance or something. I've been calling on a lot of houses in the city to the building department, and they've been doing a pretty decent job. But the one thing that they say is that we have a lot of rentals that are owned by people out of this country. And there's not much they can do other than, you know, ticket it or whatever, and it usually doesn't go anywhere, and so on and so forth. They don't know who to do it to. I think I'd like to see you guys look at where you, if they have a representative here, which I think we have an ordinance for that they are going to be totally responsible for it. And that'll make me think these guys that are representing these people think twice. Okay? I don't know what you can do about it, but I got several houses on my street that have been empty for almost 10 years. I got a couple towards Beaconsfield. My address is 19159. I got one at the corner. I got two across the street from me. One's been empty for 3 years, and you know, so on and so forth. And I even went down Kenosha, down by Beaconsfield, and there's a house that's totally horrendous. I don't know how they're getting away with it being the way it is. And I'll talk, if I may, talk to you a little later, okay? The bonuses that we're going to give is great. I applaud you for it, for the officers and that. But I thought that the court officers are the responsibility of the court and their money.
We're the funding agent.
Right, we're the funding agent for them.
We are the funding agent. I thought they were totally
They're a
self.
separate employer, but we are the funding agent. That's the state law.
Okay, but when the money comes in from the courts, where does it go? From the tickets or whatever?
I mean, this is the setup that we have now. I mean, they're a separate employer. They're employed by the state. They're governed by the state, but we are the funding agent. I mean, those are the mechanics.
Because I've been told several times if we give tickets out and so on and so forth, that money goes to the court, doesn't come to the city.
Well, that's not entirely accurate.
Okay.
Okay.
The one last thing is our parks. My grandson has a couple of friends, and they come over, and my daughter, excuse me, they like to play Pokemon. And they like to go over to Salter Park. And we had an incident where she did call the police the other day. Don't know who they were or what what organization they were. They were using Salter Park for either baseball or a football type deal. And the kid went to go to the bathroom, and of course they're locked unless you rent the proceeds. He literally peed right in public in front of everybody. Are we allowing these entities to use these parks? Oh, I understand they can rent it, but I don't know if these people are renting it, and I don't know what school they're from or what organization they're from or what. But I think we need to look into that and check on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
And Mark Van Pooker and Ross Common came up here last time about a bike path down Beaconsfield. And as a matter of fact, about the 10th of April, I think I mentioned something here at the pancake thing. Have you talked to your peers with the city council about that at all?
We've already have a report from our engineers
Okay.
that discouraged us from making any bike lanes on
Oh.
Beaconsfield.
Okay, I'd like to, I don't know if you heard of anything called Sharrows. It's basically like a decal with a bicycle with like a couple arrows and maybe like signs that says share the road, like the yellow ones. This is share the roads, and I would like them to see you get rid of the center turn lane, except maybe where the school is. I could see it being there, that I get, but, you know, make the rest of it like, you know, 2 lanes, one each way, and more room for people that ride their bikes. You know, I think it'd be, you know, I guess I want it for myself, but it'd be good for the community. I think a lot of new jobs are gonna be opening up, you know, when they build where the mall was. There might be a lot of people from Detroit that don't have a car that might, you know, take their bike to work. You know, it'd be a good path for them, you know, and or even,
We can take it under advisement to our engineer crew once again and SEMCOG, but they've already gave us their rulings when we did the
Okay.
reconfiguration of Beaconsfield, when we did the repavement and all.
okay.
So, John, we can revisit it if possible, and if it's anything positive, we'll let you know.
Yeah, can you do that? I did call them, you know, I did talk to the engineer, and well, he was talking, it's possible, but I think there's some steps that need to be done. How do you feel about it? Are you for it or against it?
Me?
No,
I'm-
Mayor Kendall.
I'm against it.
You're against it, okay.
Yes, I'm against it because it's dangerous for the children in the community. If we go ahead, anybody can paint a line on the street, okay? That's not the question. The road is too narrow, and if the city goes ahead and marks off that road for bike path, it implies that we are saying it is safe, and it is not. You
Okay.
have a center lane and you have traffic on both sides, and there's not enough room for a bike. If you want to ride your bike down the street, you could do that without a line. You could
Right.
ride on the sidewalk, but for us to go ahead and to paint a line on the street, it's not safe. It's not safe at all, and that's what the engineers are trying
Okay.
to tell you indirectly.
Okay, I'm suggesting, don't put a bike lane in, I'm just suggesting put the decals down perhaps, or share the road signs, no designated bike lane that takes the burden off of us. Way home from work, going southbound on DeQuinder, there's a couple of those signs, share the road on DeQuinder, you know, in Madison Heights, and on 12 Mile, you know, brand new, you know, bright yellow, and they don't have a bike lane or the Sharrows or anything, but they even have signs on DeQuinder. You know, I think that's a lot less safe than Beaconsfield. So I think, you know, the city council ought to, I don't know who's for or against it. You know, if everyone wants to answer, it'd be great. You know, but I wish you'd try to make it happen. And I'd like to see maybe the police department, maybe them buy a couple bikes, you know, like in the summertime, maybe you could have a couple of police officers on patrol on bike. You know, on a nice day, and it's not required, and you know what I mean, and they could mingle with the community a little bit, and you know, don't pick a rainy day to go out, and you know, I mean, if I was got to ride my bike for 2 hours and got paid for it, that'd be awesome. You know, that'd be awesome on a nice day. You know, and so maybe, you know, hopefully they're listening, and so if you could look into that again, I'd appreciate it, and see if we can make it happen, and I'd like to get the other council people's input when you get a chance.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Is there anyone else here?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. My name's Peter Maniaci. I'm a local property owner and business owner here in the city. I'm here this evening to provide an update on a project that I've been working on. Some of you might recall several meetings ago, I proposed establishing a Harper Woods Business Association, and also tackling and kind of quarterbacking getting that thing established and off the ground. So today I'm here to provide an update on the progress, and what I just provided you is an info packet with some of that. I'll go through it briefly. I know we're limited on time here. The first slide is kind of about the opportunity. So a business association is designed generally to help foster a healthy and productive relationship with the business community and the local community they do business in. The opportunity that we have here in Harper Woods is we're right now in the midst of a massive rebirth within the city, and we have a ton of positive momentum with a lot of large-scale new commercial and new residential developments. And with that's going to bring new employees, new residents, and new businesses obviously as well. This momentum creates a unique opportunity right now to establish a business community in anticipation of a lot of these new businesses coming in, as well as to serve the existing businesses that are already established within the community. The mission of the Business Association: the Harper Woods Business Association is dedicated to bringing business persons, civic groups, local government, and citizens together to advance the economic, professional, cultural, and civic welfare of the community. And the core purpose is to foster, enable, and facilitate the success of the local businesses so that our community is financially healthy and that all the people living, working, and playing in Harper Woods can enjoy a high quality of life. The initial vision of how we'll structure it with regard to the meetings, we'll plan to have the meetings at local restaurants or meeting places, kind of designed to support the local businesses while strengthening the local businesses. And then we'll do that in a phased approach as we build momentum and get more and more members participating. And so the idea is during year one, we'll have a meeting frequency every quarter. Year two will transition into every other month. And then by year three, we plan to have monthly meetings. The next page, we'll also be distributing an electronic monthly newsletter. And the idea behind that is to keep the local business community informed of local current events, upcoming meetings, and then also community engagement opportunities. There already is a lot in the city, and definitely I feel like the businesses aren't really aware of the different initiatives going on, and I think providing them an opportunity to, one, be informed, and two, to participate, just so that we can kind of build a cohesive working relationship with not only the businesses but the community that they do business within. Some of the topics, for example, we'll be talking about city meetings, new developments in the city, again, community engagement opportunities, and upcoming events and meetings. The last slide is basically the next steps. So how I envision it is we've got about 4 steps or 4 main components. We got the formation component, the recruitment component, the establishment component, and the evolution. And so right now we're working through the formation, which is determining the legal structure, the operational structure, creating the awareness, and also building relationships with the city officials, NEDC, and the commissions and committees that are involved with that as well. The next step will be going towards recruitment and really focusing on spreading the awareness to the local businesses, demonstrating that value of why they should be in the business association and why it's a good thing for them to do it. You know, not everybody likes to make commitments unless they can kind of see, oh, this is going to help me, this is going to help the business, this is, you know, this is a great thing. And so we really want to provide value first and show them, hey, this is something that's going to serve you guys well, and you guys are going to get a lot of value out of it. The next step would be the establishment, and that's kind of moving into the meetings and the newsletter like we had spoke about previously, to grow the membership, grow the relationship, and start establishing and building our relationship, or reputation, I'm sorry. And then the last step is evolution. The overall vision here is that we build a business association that is so strong and so large, really, you know, and unique that we can transition that potentially into a chamber of commerce and take it kind of to that next level and start interacting with other communities surrounding Harper Woods, not only Harper Woods. And so that's the vision that we have and the update that I have on the Business Association at this point. We're currently reaching out to local businesses to start garnering that commitment, a soft commitment now at this point. They're not required to do anything yet. But as we're establishing it, we're at least making them know, or letting it be known that we are doing that they are invited and they're welcome, and kind of what to expect by joining that membership. Lastly, with regard to the formation and things like that, I'm tackling that primarily right now, and the plan is if and when there are any costs associated to that, should they come before we have an established membership, I'll be going out to the business community and looking for corporate partners to help defray those costs so that we can get this thing over the hump, start building a membership that will then start supporting the association. And if there's any questions, my contact information is on the last slide of it. Feel free to reach out, and if anybody in the community has any questions as well, I'd be happy to send this by email to you guys, and then you can distribute it as necessary.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Peter before he walks away?
Thank you.
Awesome.
They have a few
Oh, yeah, go
questions.
ahead. Absolutely.
And it's more addressed to our city manager and our mayor, actually. I'd like some clarification on the city's responsibility in this. It says a Harper Woods City sanctioned organization, so I'd like clarification between sanctioned and our responsibility and involvement. I know, I believe Councilperson Costantino was taking on this project or involved with it.
Excuse me? What did you say?
I thought Councilwoman Costantino was initially involved in this project. Am I correct or incorrect? No?
No.
Okay, then I'd like some clarification on how this is city sanctioned, and I have concerns also about, you said, as this progresses, we may be looking for some kind of corporate partnership, which also has me worried about this.
Forgive me if
and
my
then-
terminology and the legal, I might not be correct in the exact terminology, but there will be a membership component, like most associations, where they pay forward. Maybe it's a sponsorship, maybe is a better word. I might use the wrong word.
But I'm wondering how the city then is involved with this. No, it says sanctioned, so I would like clarification on what sanctioned means and what the city's responsibility is on this, or our liability is, and I'm also wondering why our city logo is being used.
Our city logo? Yeah.
Right there?
That's questionable.
Issue, and I don't know where this arose from, city sanctioned necessarily got the city logo. I'm also concerned about those issues.
Right.
Not the business association, but the idea.
Yeah.
And to clear the air a little bit, maybe it's,
Right.
yeah, maybe I used some different terminology that was a little
And
jump
logo.
the gun, and I'm happy to collaborate with you guys to get that right. This is not set in stone, it's definitely a working document. Just wanted to be able to come out here and kind of give you guys not only words, but something that you can walk away with and look at, and give me this type of feedback so that we can get it right and have it done properly.
So I would still like clarification then on Harper Woods City sanctioned organization.
She just said that it was something that we have to work with because it's not something that we can, it can be said.
Right.
That
But-
is not.
But you're saying it's something we have to work with, and I'm wondering.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's something that Sharon and John should work out with Peter and them to understand that this logo and everything
Right.
here, where it says sanction, is not legally binding
Right.
for us as a city. It is a business association, and that's what it should, that's all it should say is Harper Woods Business Association. That's it.
Right, but it's sounding then that if our city attorney and our acting city manager are getting involved, then it sounds then that the city is also involved, but our attorney is saying no.
We're just trying to clarify what he's saying here.
Yeah, this is just sort of a mock-up at this
That's
point?
correct. Yes, this is, there's nothing official about this, no, not at all.
So that we're pointing out that
Yeah, and I appreciate the
You can't use
feedback.
city logo, that's not appropriate,
Mhm.
without certain permissions and all the rest of it, and that's typically not given out. And I think sanction is not the appropriate word, since the city is not involved per se.
Got it.
So that's something that you need to take out.
Yeah, no problem.
In terms of.
No problem.
The organization, as I understand it, everybody's on board with, and I will comment on that as to
Okay,
go
thank
forward
you.
with that, but you are correct that city logos should not be used in the word sanction, because the city of Harper Woods really doesn't have any.
So before I send you the electronic copy, we'll work on getting this in a proper format, so, because I want to work with you guys hand in hand so that we can move this thing forward,
Okay,
so.
good. Thanks. That's what I needed. I was confused about to what, if we were involved and to what extent we were involved, but we're not, other than that we like the project and you've come before us before and we think it's a good idea. and
Completely
we printed
understand, and
something
I
out.
apologize
Okay.
about the confusion.
And that is one of the reasons why we did not go forward with Cheryl Constantino, Councilwoman Constantino, having a business association, because it could not be something that was sanctioned or something that we would do through city council. And this is supposed to be a private entity, but it's the business members of our community.
Okay. Thank you.
So, as you
Thank you.
said, this is a progress in work. We appreciate that he gave us something to look forward to, but,
I think you gave me the wrong
we just have some work
Oh,
to
where
do.
it's on this one.
All right, is there any further questions? All right, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
All right, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, we'll get you.
I wasn't going to say anything, but since I got a captive audience, today was the first day of the Allard construction, and I live on Manchester. So we need some extra patrols. We already had someone drive over our front lawn. Because years ago, well, we've lived in our house 21 years, someone sued City of Grosse Pointe Woods so that people no longer had to turn and go up Manchester in order to avoid Allard. So, I mean, we still get a lot of that school traffic, because when you get up to Mac, you have to go around the island, so a lot of people would, well, now we got all the traffic. I mean, today was day one. It took me to get on my driveway just now probably 4 minutes. And the first 10 houses on the other side of Chester, that's Harper Woods. So if we can do a little 3 to 5, that overnight parking for the same cars that are parked there every night for the last 15 years, and the ones that are now in the approach, which normally didn't bother me until I went to pull out of my driveway tonight, and there's a truck, and I can't see to go around. If we can just do a little extra, because there was probably, I don't know, 3,000 cars that went down our street today. I mean, everything that was normally goes up Allard, or down Manchester, or down Wildwood, all came. So if we can just pay attention and work with Grosse Pointe Woods, and maybe do, I mean, we can't stop them, it's only a few months, but just be a little more aware of what's going on there. That's it.
All right, thank you. Miss Ann?
Walk over
No,
there,
this-
nobody needs me to walk over there, they can hear me. Need a little levity in this show today. So this is kudos to the police department. There was non-emergency yesterday at the corner of Dupre and Lemon. My neighbors were up north and I was paying attention to their house, and we had to make a long story short, had 3 calls to the police department. And 2 cruisers were there within 12 minutes. They took care of the problem. We had 7 people sitting on the front porch of this house where people were up north. They looked like 8th or 9th graders. There were about 10 more in the middle of the intersection riding their bikes and having a good time now. But the police department took good care of it, and one of the cruisers stayed there until all the kids dispersed. As I mentioned to the dispatcher when I talked to her yesterday. This might be a forewarning of the summer, because it's not summer yet. And look what happened yesterday. And if this is any indication, and of course, I couldn't come down here last year, you had the virtual stuff and all that good stuff. But the 4th of July last year was a total nightmare over at Coulthard School and all the sections around there. Shooting off rockets and everything, almost setting roofs on fire. It was a nightmare. So something needs to be done, better ordinance or cancel the whole thing and save Bill's department the trouble of putting up signs on those school over there saying fireworks not allowed. These kids come and they laugh like crazy, and you know, if they had a gun, they'd probably even shoot the sign. They go right on to the school property and shoot their stuff off. So anyway, thanks to the police for what they did yesterday.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ann. Is there anyone else in the audience would like to speak? Seeing none, okay, start with you, Mrs. Williams, Councilwoman Williams.
All right, good evening, everyone. A couple of things. I know a resident talked about the vehicles parked in driveways, all the many vehicles. And I don't know if there is an ordinance, but I do know, I do remember people getting tickets for vehicles being in the driveway that did not have updated updated license plates, or vehicles that sat there in the driveways and just never, ever moved. I do know that, I do remember the city used to come out and put those little warning tickets on people's cars and vehicles. The share the road signs, I agree with our acting city manager that it would be very dangerous to have bike lanes, because our streets it's already really small in Beaconsfield. But putting up a few signs along the side just to remind people that they need to be careful and, you know, just to look out for bikes. I don't see the harm of putting signs, just a few reminder signs. And the other thing is Mother's Day is coming up. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and even to all the fellows who have been acting as mothers. You know, because some people are raised by just a single parent, perhaps. And also, you know, if your mother is still around, be blessed. You know, our time on this earth is short. So if you still have a mother, you know, make sure you say something to her, visit her, do something for Mother's Day. My mother is 88 years old, so I'm blessed that she's still with me, you know, right now. And I'm also a mother, of course, so happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Madam Mayor? Yes, we have, as Mr. Hakeem had asked, we had some appointments to boards and commissions. So I'll read those names off right now as we are here. Andrea Williams for Planning Commission, term expires January 2024. Alyssa Walker, Board of Zoning Appeals, term expires January 2024. Cherie Jackson, Beautification Commission, term expires January 2026. Sheila Hakeem, Charter Review Subcommittee. Gregory Williams, Charter Review Subcommittee. Tim O'Lean, Cannabis Committee. Cherie Jackson, Cannabis Committee. And Harry, I'm going to butcher the heck out of this.
Harry K.
Harry K. Cannabis Committee. Those were the appointments for boards and commissions that were accepted and approved.
I think there's a typo with Cherie Jackson. I don't think she's on both of those committees. We was trying to spread them out, so no.
That's what I got.
I know what you said.
Just reading what I got.
I know. So we'll make the correction on that. But yeah, because we were trying to make sure that we covered all committees, but giving new residents and residents a chance to be on different committees and not have people sat on several different committees. So that's one of the reasons we're trying to spread it out, and it's one more because we just did the, but Leslie wasn't here today to be able to add those for, zone, is it zone and appeal or? Yeah. So we will be making those announcements at the next meeting because we don't have those here today. Mrs. Franks had an emergency today, a family emergency, so she won't be with us today and probably this week. We just send out prayers and hopefully everything, whatever's happening in her situation, that we pray that it is a success. Ms. Pies?
Thank you. I agree also about having some signs that say share the road if that doesn't put us in some kind of legal liability. I think it's a good idea to have like a heads up. I also want to say that our new development, North Point, is going to be building a 7-foot wide walking, biking path from Beaconsfield to Kelly, so that will be something you can do for recreational, but also if you need to get, from one part of town to the other part of town. Also, let's see, Mr. Shenburn had mentioned the parks. The parks are public parks, open to everyone, so we can't ask them where they're from. They have every right to be there as everybody else, but I understand your concern. Also, regarding the $12,000, I had talked to our Parks and Rec director, Mr. John Boback, before he retired about this. I talked with him last summer, and he had told me that the costs were going towards uniforms for the kids, the bottom parts of uniforms, I guess, because Mr. Smith had found someone to donate the shirts for the kids, that it was going to equipment that they could use over again, and that some of it was going to food, lunches for the kids also. So, and he also said that it was covering some of the costs for the kids to be in the program, and that he saw this as like a long-term investment from that. So I just wanted you to know that. Also about the parking on the approach and blocking sidewalks is, I don't know how we can take care of that unless you happen to see it as, you're driving by on our officers, but people need to know that it really limits the mobility of people with physical disabilities to be able to walk down the sidewalk as anyone else, or easy mobility just to get from point A to point B. So I'm hoping everybody would be a little bit more mindful about that, although I suspect everybody here is already mindful about that. And also about the cars parked overnight. I know we have a few problems with ordinance compliance in different situations, and rather than just giving the tickets and then they go and they pay them and then the problem just restarts again, I'd also like to see if we could address something so that there's increased penalty for non-compliance. I don't know if we do that through ordinance or how we would take care of that, but I think it's something that needs to be really addressed, and not just with this particular situation, but I've noticed it happening in other violations, that someone will just pay because it's cheaper for them to just pay than to do whatever they have to follow up and rectify the situation. I see our city attorney talking.
Yes.
The problem with the cars on the street, and trust me, we see a ton of parking tickets. Police are out there enforcing, you don't have a car limit because you're not supposed to park in the grass, you're not supposed to park across the approaches, you're not supposed to park across the sidewalk. Your cars are supposed to be properly plated if they are on the street, properly plated, if they're improper and illegal plates, and properly plated elsewhere. So that's why there's no car number, because that's where they should be. As for parking on the street, from my standpoint, I'm not quite sure, but I think I might be joined in on this. For repeat offenders will be determining if they're repeat offenders. It's not very easy, particularly with identification of somebody who owns cars. We have gotten into massive discussions about who actually owns the car, whose responsibility that is. So, sounds wonderful. I would love if that were a possibility, but enforcement could be a real problem.
Difficult.
Just so you know, nothing that we're just throwing out the window, but absolutely trying to enforce it would be a problem.
Okay, thanks. And then Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society is having their annual canine fundraiser spring pancake breakfast. It's May 14th at Holy Redeemer Church on Vernier, just a couple buildings west of I-94 on the north side of the street. That's May 14th. That's it. Thank you.
Want to comment? We had the Earth Day and cleanup last week, which was I thought was pretty successful. We had a lot of support from DPW with that too, and I had like four young ladies in my car, and we went up to doing the alleys with the DPW, and there's a lot of trash out there. I was really kind of disappointed that a lot of the businesses or the homeowners aren't more responsible for their own trash. You know, because you just see so much of it. It's kind of like, why don't you the cleaner have to, can't you see the trash and you should pick it up yourself? But anyway, we did a pretty good job and we worked well with it. And Councilwoman Virginia, she was on our team also. So I think everybody had a good time in doing that. And thank God it was a good weather also that day. There was a very successful lunch and learn at the Redeemer Church last week on plant life and stuff. So we had a good turnout on that from a lot of Harperwood residents, and I thought that went very, very well. This weekend also there was the NAACP Fund Annual Fund Gala down at Huntington Place, which is now Old Cobo Hall or TCB. I got there and I was like, where's Huntington Place? Were you in it right now? And I went to the park on the top of the TCB parking lot. But anyway, that was trying to go ahead. And the mayor and I got a chance to meet with just about every elected official was there, from the governor to Gary Peters and a lot of places. And Mayor even got some commitment from some of them that help us out with to participate in our, I'm not saying any names, participate with us on when we want we opened up the new redevelopment of Eastland. So we're looking forward to that also. So very happy about that coming up. And we'll see what officials that will come with us on that. And again, happy Mother's Day. And I know that parking on the street it's a challenge. It really is. And we get people who want to, they have their kids' cars, just junk cars, and they just want to leave them right on the street. And it really turned into a big problem, especially during the winter time with traffic going with the snowmobiles and things, with the snow machines and trash, trying to clean up the streets, trying to get around a lot of those parked cars. And then when you would suggest, people say, why don't you maybe use your garage, which was created to house and protect your automobiles. They get mad about that because they would rather protect their other things, that I don't want to call it junk, because everybody's junk is another man's treasure, versus protect, to me, their most valuable asset, their automobile. So it is an ongoing thing, and we work with the police quite a bit, and they do as much as they can to reinforce, and I want to applaud them for that. Done.
All right, thank you. Well, I have the last word, and I have a couple of things I want to share. First of all, I'm so grateful once again for the efforts that was made for the cleanup. We will be doing it again because there's so much to cover, and we just have people that just love to just throw their litter out on the streets. It's just unbelievable. I mean, especially when you stop up there, Vernier and 94. I mean, it looks like people just dump their trash right out there on the corner while they're waiting for the lights. Unbelievable. But it is this time and place, and we just have to do the best we can do and help our DPW to keep our city beautiful. So Also, I think I'm really interested in the ordinance committee taking up about rentals, that people that renting these homes were not in compliance, have no, what they call them, COA, or certificate of occupancy. We have a bunch of people that are just moving people into their homes. I think that it ought to be a real stiff violation, so that's something we need to bring up at the ordinance committee, or I don't know, Sharon, what we can do, but it's just.
Taking a tough stand between the building department and the court. We're taking a tough stand there. There is no excuse anymore. You either have to have a C of O, or it has to be a vacant property, or a rental property. It has to be every one of those. If it's not, it's $250 fine, right off the bat.
Okay.
It's a misdemeanor, so, I mean, it's a civil infraction, so there's no right to appointed counsel.
It's amazing to me.
But yeah, infraction.
Yeah, and I guess it's just another point where some people would rather just take the fine as opposed to being in compliance. Is our fines that low that they'd rather take the fine than to be in compliance? I don't know. But I think it's not fair to the rest of us to have people just violating the rules and regulations of our city, period. And whatever we need to do to tighten those up, we need to do. Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, and a new business called Taco Bar. They're having a Cinco de Mayo celebration in their parking lot, and everyone is welcome. I thought he would be here today to, talk with everybody and whatever. And hopefully he has reached out to our police department to make sure that they're in compliance, just not throwing a festival and nobody knows, you just can't do what you wish to do in our city. You must follow the rules and regulations. So hopefully they have, and I will check with them tomorrow and see and make sure. But it should be a good festival, and it's the first time we've had one. So hopefully all works out well.
That's gonna be from 11 to 9. From 11 o'clock to 9.
Yeah, from 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's gonna be, a festival, he said, so hopefully all is well with that. Other than that, and once again, thanking my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful police department. I appreciate you guys so much. So, with that being said.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make the motion for adjournment.
I support.
All right. And adjournment. Thank you.
All in favor?